Shouts out Big Steve.
Shout out Michael Bisbin. What's up? What's up? Early tease for this dreadful UFC Vegas 104 card. We're going to look at some early odds. What the hell? Looks like I got my YouTube running in the background. Whoops. We're going live. Yes. And then we'll try and make some money. Did we make money last week? As in yesterday? Yes, we did. The comeback is on. Finally, I was able to grind. About 1,200 over KSW and UFC. So let's go straight into it, shall we? KSW, pretty much, KSW, Octagon, Cage Warriors. All I had was the Saturday, the day before, to tape, 3 promotions. It was always going to be tough to find leans that I liked, and because I like to think about things for a couple of days, make sure my early read is not wrong and impulsive. But yeah, ultimately, Bartosz Kurek, when I was finished taping this guy and Damien, it was basically 2 strikers. Bartosz Kurek fought a boxer in his KSW debut. He's really smart, calf kicks, really defensively savvy, and Damien is like a plotting Terminator-like boxer that has a lot of power. So I expected like a pick'em fight, and Kurek was plus 160 on BetOnline. So I was like, wow. There's some questions. Will Kurek be able to handle the pressure? He kind of slew down in KSW. I was a light heavyweight. He dropped down to middleweight. And yeah, round 1 KO in under 2 minutes. So that one felt like, yeah, this is a play straight away. I wish I went a full unit, but man, I only just like deposited on BetOnline. I was low on funds, paid a lot of money for the wedding and stuff. So I just wanted to dip my toes in the water. So yeah, won $400 and something there. And then I ended up playing Jordan Nando versus Glowacki, basically a 38-year-old boxer versus a Muay Thai guy, Nando. I thought Nando, be less chitty, less old. Glowacki's had 2 fights in KSW. He's looked awful in both of them, and he lost to a striker already. So I thought Nando could do the same to him. Ended up being a eye poke in 20 seconds. So yeah, $400 and something there, not bad. There was a couple I liked. I liked Simone. My boy Pirate was liking him at slight dog odds, and it ended up being a split, so I'm happy with that pass. This one right here, Zayak, I taped him in his debut, and I thought he was a bit underwhelming, but upon taping him again, I really respect his Muay Thai. He's really long, brutal knees and elbows. I thought Mikhail's path was a boring wrestling decision, whereas I had all the finishing upside, and I passed on that one. He moved on the bookie that I could bet. It wasn't pick him anymore. He went to slight favorite, so I just kind of passed, and yeah, knocked him out in round 1. So that was a little bit of regret. But like always, my reads on KSW was spot on. I didn't even get a chance to tape the top 3 fights. I skipped the main event. I knew both guys well. I wish I taped Lopatsky as a massive dog. Maybe I would have liked him. He beat Brian Hoy in his debut. But yeah, $400 and something. Octagon and Cage Warriors, I just didn't have time. So let's go on to the UFC. So UFC, first week where I kind of had time to tape after the wedding. I still didn't have a full week, but I felt like I was going to lock in a lot of plays, right? So Ozzy Diaz, Jordan Santos, this is where I shot myself in the foot. I went extensively thinking, does this doesn't go the distance have value? I wanted to lay a bomb, obviously because of Ozzy Diaz's chin and the power that he has. He's never been into round 3, so I had to see if Santos has any chin issues. Has he been dropped before? He's obviously fought a lot of bums, so it's kind of hard for anyone to drop him. And I ended up leaving with Ozzy Diaz has a bunch of value. I thought this was going to be nothing like the Will Curry fight, where Curry couldn't get a takedown, and then he was 0 on the feet. I thought Ozzy Diaz was just as fluid, if not had better hands, better power than Jordan Santos. So I was just about to lock in some Ozzy Diaz, and then I was passing on the under because I didn't think there was much value. Jordan Santos couldn't seem to bust the grape, and I thought Diaz's chin wasn't as bad. He only gets killed by dudes that bomb real hard, and it's more so how hittable he is. And then he went up to the under 2.5 rounds, went up to pick him. A lot of money came in on it, and I just got tempted. And I was like, man, it should be minus money just because, again, Aussie power and Aussie chin. And I got tempted on that, passed on the money line, and then how competitive round 1 was, I was like, oh, I made a mistake. This is going the distance. And then I live bet Diaz at $3 something. I put $150. That way I didn't miss out on the money line. And halfway through round 2, I was like, this is a good bet. He's going to come on rounds 2 and round 3. Santos is going to slow down. And, hopefully Diaz KO and I get both. And unfortunately, Diaz hurts him after 2.5 rounds. And I lose the 2.5. And then, I also live bet Jordan Santos massively, $400, thinking he was 2-0 up. Pretty much because of that one punch that he landed on Diaz in round 2. But yeah, Diaz got it. So I gave away all my Diaz profits. Bad live betting on Santos. I was like 300 something dollars down already. If I just poked like Diaz, half a unit would have been right. Marlon Santos, nothing there. I guess a massive robbery. I didn't watch round 3, so I can't really comment. Carlos Leal, I played the under 2.5 rounds at Pick'em. I expected the 1.5 rounds to be Pick'em, and 2.5, I would have loved to play the under 1.5 rounds at big plus money, but I don't have a Bet365. I didn't have a book that I could play it on. So yeah, that cash for like 200 and something reduced the damage a bit. And then Bruno Ferreira, Petrosian, I also like that doesn't go here as well. I was very surprised that the under 2.5 rounds wasn't at least minus 200. We've seen under 1.5 rounds in Hulk's fights be minus 200. But ultimately, I passed because of Armin's lack of finishing upside. And after round 1, where I thought Bruno has a 10-8 due to the point deduction, I ended up live betting Bruno plus money, half a unit to win 270. I wasn't liking it, I'll be honest. I wasn't liking it up until he got that takedown and meme armbar. So that put me in profit, from being down on the Aussie fight. Then Joshua Van fight starts. A ton of money on this one as well. I liked the under initially, and then I kind of said to myself, Ray Cerruto could probably weasel to a decision if he's getting the crap beaten out of him. And Joshua Van, I mentioned he has underrated submission defense. He puts himself in a lot of positions, but I think he's leveling up a lot. And then maybe 2 minutes into the fight, when Joshua Van stuffed the first 2 takedowns, I live bet Van at $1.66, pretty much his money line, the top of his money line. So I put a full unit, $500. I won 333 there. So live betting so far so good. I'm up $460, almost a unit. Then I got Mauricio Huffy. A lot of people playing the KO, the under 1.5, the round 1 and 2 KO. I was liking the under 1.5 the best because it was plus 150 at one point. The best price, covers a little bit of green. You just don't get the 2.5 minutes of Huffy in round 2, which he has a couple of knockdowns in the last half of round 2. And then I was like, I don't know, I'm almost a unit up, $500. I don't want to lose even half a unit. I got scared and greedy, so I just played Mauricio Huffy round 2 for $50, lost that. And then Amanda Lemos, man, this one bothers me because on the early tease, I said I like this one. I said Lucinda's 2 green. It's a step up from Marina Rodriguez, who I played her against. Wow, easy 30-27. So that one bothered me. And then I was like, it's all right. It'll be all okay as long as I don't lose my next bet on Jalen Turner. So it was between, as I said on the early tease, not the early tease, the last breakdown before the fight. I said either the Jalen Turner money line or the under 1.5 at plus 150, which correlates with Jalen Turner, right? Ignacio's hittable. Turner, usually his unders are not plus money like this. And there's a chance that he might get finished as well. Last 2 Ignacios have been under 1.5. And I ended up going with half a unit on Turner instead. And then he taps to that triangle. I was like, oh, man. So frustrating when you make a couple of bad decisions. Huffy, then pass on Lemos, and then, making the wrong choice. And then you're down to almost break even. And I'm like, it's all right. 2 more fights to go. Nothing on Gaethje Fiziev. I was kind of waiting for a good live bet. I regret not going the over with how both durable guys are. And then we get to Ankalaev Pereira. I wanted to play Ankalaev. I've been talking about it all week. I was like, I don't know, man. He's such an idiot. And we saw in round 1, again, not checking the leg kicks. Like, go on, dude. So obvious that Pereira's going to do it, and Ankalaev didn't really address it. But I did put $150 on him just so I wouldn't get FOMO if he won. And I was going to save most of it for live betting. So round 2, he's a decent sized underdog, obviously because he lost round 1 pretty clear. I ended up putting another $150 on him to win 240. And then at the end of the round, when it was pick'em, when he clearly won and hurt Pereira, I put another 300 on him. So I had $600 to win 650. That ended up winning. I honestly thought it was going to get robbed. I was pulling my hair out in round 5. It could be 2-2. I honestly thought it was 2-2. And I'm like, you're going to lose round 5 like that when you could have just grappled from the start. So I was like, wow, I've gone big. I've gone 600, and this idiot is going to bury me. And yeah, luckily he won. So roller coaster of a card, right? Bury myself with some stupid live bets on Aussie, and then dig myself out, and then bury myself again with Jalen Turner, and then all worked out. Ended up on just a little bit under $800, 1,200 all up. So I reckon by the end of this March I'll be in profit. So yeah, it's all good. Keep on going. If things are going well, I will up my units to $1,000. I'll double it. I just need one more good month. So hopefully March is that month, right? And then we'll move on to this card. Let me look at the comments. Lou Betcher, the GOAT. How many units on Lima Barres Yamas? I mean, it's probably going to be minus 200, Lou. Pirate, hello, sir. Multiple units on Lucinda decision. Could be, could be. Yeda, how was UFC 313? Hopefully that answered your questions, Yeda. Money coming in on Leal over was bizarre. I agree, Parky, but it scared me a little bit because it came in on Aussie Diaz too, and that hit. But I don't know. There's been a lot of crazy money coming in lately. Like even the Ray Saruya, tons of money on him, and one of the worst bets on the card, lost 30-27. I thought it could have been a 10-8 in there too. Yeah, was going to put that bankroll on Kuniev. Thank God Curtis pulled out. Are you that guy that put? There was another guy that put his whole bankroll on my KSW bets. I don't know what this irresponsible gambling is recently. I do not advise to put whole bankrolls on anything. Unless your bankroll is tiny, who knows? Alrighty, Yunzi Duben versus Carly Judice. I taped this one a little bit. Full disclosure, I taped like a couple of fights, so for once. And yeah, I mean, there's got to be some value on Duben, but she's very, very scrappy. She could be some hidden raw potential there. She throws. She obviously knocked out the current LFA champion with one punch, which we don't see in women's fighting. And Carly's already had a UFC debut against a pretty decent Gabrielle Fernandez, who's more physical, more powerful, and went to a split with her. So she throws a lot of volume. She's just a little bit hittable, a little bit green. This could be a slugfest, but I haven't really finalized a concrete capping decision on this fight, a concrete read, I should say. Just the fact that Duben might have some value. She's scrappy, but there's a lot of questions. I don't think she's ever been into round 3. No, she hasn't. There's that fight where she goes deep into round 2, and that was a strawweight, and now she's a flyweight. She kind of looks chubby, a flyweight. I don't know why she's not dropping down, but she's also 28. I was surprised by that. I thought she was like some South American young girl, but no, she's almost 30. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a slugfest. I haven't looked at any of the totals, so I'm excited. Let's have a look. First time live on air with your boy BigSteve. Wow, really disappointing. Really disappointing. Under 2.5 rounds, barely plus money. I thought we were going to get some hidden value there. I thought it was going to be a typical female juiced over. Yeah, I think both girls might have finishing upside. But Carly keeps taking steam, so it's a dog or pass for sure. Alrighty, moving on to another messed up female fight. Jose Nunes versus Priscilla Cachoeira. I love betting on both these girls. Recently, not really much on Nunes, but ever since she knocked out Bea Malecki into the next dimension, I've had a soft spot for her. But yeah, Priscilla gets a fight where she's not really gonna face a grappler. It's at 135, is it? Let me just have a look. And yeah, this should be a stand-up affair. So I get why people are playing Priscilla. And yeah, she's a really good dog to play when someone brawls with her. But I think Nunes can match her in terms of power and in terms of durability in a brawl. And I also think Nunes has the cleaner strikes. Priscilla just wings. She gets really sloppy. I went back and quickly refreshed against Jing Yong Kim. A lot of people said that was a robbery. And that's just because it was so sloppy in the end and Priscilla was so tired. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is going to be a slugfest. Let me just have a look. Has flyweight, bantamweight. Okay. Yeah, so Priscilla's moved up to bantamweight because she's missed a couple times. And Nunes has already been... She's always been the bantamweight, right? Has she dropped from featherweight? Correct. She has. Yeah, interesting. Maybe she's an underdog because she's fighting a bantamweight. And Nunes might have some size. But yeah, what's the under here? Again, plus 130, slight under, slight plus money. So far, kind of feels accurately lined, unfortunately. All right, what do we got in the comments? Cloud, Vittori washed, and he already lost to Delize. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of varying opinions on the main event. We'll talk about it. What's up, Glimbot? Nunes striking wasn't as wild as I thought after I taped Nunes. No, it's not wild at all. She just spammed the 1-2. Alrighty. Andrew Lima versus Daniel Barres. Interesting that Andrew Lima is such a decent favorite. I don't think Barres is bad whatsoever. I think he's a really good boxer, has good power, but just the fact that he's a bit of a slim margins kind of guy. Um, the way he was ran through by Jafel Filo. Victor Altamirano fight was a clear unanimous decision, but it was a bit slim margins. Like he needed 2 moments in that one. So yeah, I know Lima. Never really been a fan of Lima. I've been fading him quite a lot, but he covered extensively against Felipe dos Santos, and the Mitch Raposo fight probably wasn't a split. I still maintain that he was going to lose to Igor Severino, the guy that beat him. Not just because I had a live bet on him, but we've seen how good Igor Severino is. I have to look into this one. I've come around to Andre Lima after his Felipe dos Santos fight. I thought it was going to be a scrappy back and forth war, but he completely shut him down. So I get the steam, but not advocating for playing it. I mean, it's a clear dogger pass if you're brave enough to play Barres. All right, what do we got next? Jusias Masusa versus Carlos Vera. Yeah, I mean, Masusa, when I was on that weekend day in my contender series last year, he was my first bet win. He's got a lot of potential, a lot of power. They're giving him Carlos Vera. I mean, he could have had a lot harder opponents, let's just say that. Carlos Vera, he lost to Rinya, Katona. Yeah, I mean, what is this? Extremely juiced? $1.15, wow. $1.15, as good as Musasa is, for a debuting Dana White contender series guy. The under 1.5 rounds, people. But Vera's a bit of a weasel, so what to make of that one? Musasa fought very patiently in his Dana White contender series debut against Otar Tanzilov. But he's got raw power. Maybe that under is going to have some potential. Maybe write that down. What's the Andre Lima Barres under? Let me have a look. Surely that's generous. Over 2.5 rounds is plus 150. No, minus 200. A little bit better. Yeah. And it's disappointing that these totals are not on money lines on this card are just dreadful. Su Young Yu. Let's just get straight to the breakdown here. $1.14 versus AJ Cunningham. I mean, crazy. I think I'm skipping. I'm not going by Topology anymore. Pirate. Imagine going to work 5 days a week, slaving away, and then putting money on this main event. I mean, never say never. Can't bet this, but same game parlay. Barres at under 1.5 seems to be his win condition. I think Andre Lima is extremely durable, so I don't know. Alrighty. There's a guy versus Brenderson Ribeiro. Yeah, there's a guy. I bet him in contender series. It's a good fighter. I think people are trying to fade him. From memory, there was a lot of CLV on his opponent, Polish guy, that was just knocked out in KSW as well, actually. Let's see what this line is at. Seems like a very $1.30 for DR. I get it because Brenderson Ribeiro just barely won a competitive fight with Machado, one of the worst guys in the UFC. I think Machado won that too, but subjective. It's the decision fight. He's young. He does have a lot of athletic advantages. He can kill anyone. He's got huge reach. What is it, 70? I think it's high 70s. Oh, 81. There you go. Huge reach, only 28, very powerful, but he's not a good fighter. Got shot down by Magomed. He's a bum as well. Let me have a look at Dyer. Dyer also came in very patient in contender series, and then he ended up getting, I think, a round 2 knockout. Yeah, he's a good fighter. He's got wrestling and he's got striking. So if he just fights smart, he really should beat Ribeiro. I need to tape just to evaluate, is he a parlay piece? He is a Dana White contender series guy after all, and it is light heavyweight, which is generally a volatile division. What do we got here? Under 1.5 rounds, plus 110. That could have my attention. That could have my attention. Let's move on. Sam Hughes, Stephanie Luciano. I love Stephanie Luciano. She's a good fighter. I bet her on Contender Series as a massive underdog, and then I regret not betting her as a slight favorite in the debut, but it is what it is. And Sam Hughes. I mean, we know Sam Hughes well. She just exists until her opponents slow down, and then she wins. Not the best wrestler, not the best anything. She just exists and has good cardio. I like Victoria because Dudakova has like 5 minutes of cardio at best. But yeah, she can be taken down herself as well. So I'm not really rushing to play Sam Hughes. She's kind of like a lie-bet kind of fighter, and she has to be fighting a bum, someone unproven. I think Stephanie's really good. So what is the odds on that? Stephanie's going to be a big favorite, I assume. $1.43. Could be worse. Could be worse. There's worse parlay pieces. What's the total? Now this is a over 2.5 that's juiced. That's more like it for a female fight. Maybe Stephanie has some finishing upside, but yeah, I don't know. Probably accurate. Oh well, what are you gonna do? We'll keep on trucking, right? What are the people talking about? Parky, how does Lima cover? Haven't looked at it, but he's live to give up around from memory. Yeah, I mean, generally makes mistakes and can be taken down, but my issue is Barres is primarily a boxer. That's the thing. And I think Barres might have some chin issues too, so. Michael Casey, the man that loves chalk. Lima's very good. He has ranking potential. I don't know about that. Don't know about ranking potential, but we'll see. Now, it's weird fight. Waldo versus Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann moving up to heavyweight. I wonder what prompted that. Could it be because Ryan wants to train even less? Like cutting weight anymore? Because that's a red flag, because apparently this guy never trained a day in his life. Massive flake, massive glass cannon, knocks you out, or he gets knocked out himself, or he gets submitted, or he loses a decision to extremely washed Anthony Smith, which is just, impressive in its own right. And as elite guillotine. Now, Waldo is extremely durable, but he's mainly a boxer, and that's about it. My early thing is, if Waldo can not get knocked out himself, he probably just box off Spann's head. But Waldo's not the best guy at chalk either. He got completely shut down by Marcos Rogério de Lima, out wrestled and out calf kicked. And then the rest of his fight, Jared Vanderer, Chase Sherman, Andrei Arlovsky, who he couldn't knock out. That was a pathetic performance. He was like dancing in there. He won 29-28, almost lost. Rebellious, it was impressive to see his wrestling. He's never shown that before. So he's obviously leveling up. He's a martial artist. What is this? What is this line? Plus 140 for Ryan Spann. Look, Ryan Spann can kill anyone, even someone as durable as Waldo Acosta. But man, all right. So we got 140. Ryan Spann versus Waldo. Correlate with Spann. Maybe under 2.5. We shall see. Parky. Well, Parky, that is a very blanket statement, and it works for pretty much any Ryan Spann fight. But thank you. Anyway. Alrighty, now we're getting into the main card. And no, the fights are not getting any better. Su Yong-Yo versus AJ Cunningham. Yeah, massive favorite, Yu. AJ Cunningham is a bit of a punching bag, but Yu is a grappler per se. So let me quickly wiki cap, see if there's any grappling here. Ludwig Klein knocked him out. Justice, ground and pound. Stephen Yu knocked him out. Rear naked choke. Maybe there's some value in Cunningham, like he's a dog. He'll keep coming forward. Yu is not. I mean, he's basically harmless. He's got some power. I think he's knocked some dudes out pretty brutally. At KO round 1. I remember that on tape. Yeah, a lot of decisions otherwise and submissions. He's a very, very high level grappler. Some of the stuff he does is pretty nice. Good, insane scrambles as well. But yeah, I mean, Cunningham probably a live bet if anything. His dog. if he cannot get submitted. I'm pretty sure he has bad takedown defense from memory as well, so it makes sense why he's such an underdog. But again, another not a Dana White Contender Series, but a road to UFC. I'm not sure what's worse, making their debut and $14, flying to America. Come on, man. I hope people are not parlaying any of these guys. The under 1.5 rounds, that's interesting. That's 1.5 rounds plus 160. Could get my attention. Alrighty. Damon Blackshear, Cody Gibson. I took a little gander at this one because people in the Discord are saying, oh, this is a crazy line. Why is it like this? And I do agree. You know, Damon Blackshear can be taken down. We just seen him knocked out cold with one punch recently. And, you know, he's got his flaws, but he's very good. And the biggest flaw with Cody Gibson, I think, is UFC level. I played him at Chalk versus Chad and Hellinger, 3 units, and man, covered. I think he might even had a 10-8 in there. And that's how it goes when you're not a UFC level. Even finished Brian Kelleher. If you're not UFC level, I think he'll finish you. I think he will dominate you. But his biggest issue is old. I think 37. Yep. And he's just a bit shop worn, you know, a bit hittable, falls apart. We saw Miles John just kind of out-youth him, out-athleticism him. But he's a good wrestler, good power, good submissions. So if you can take Damon down, maybe crack him. Damon loves hunting for subs. I mean, he almost beat Mario Batista. You know, ran through Jose Johnson, which is not saying much. Farid barely beat him. It was a clear unanimous, but it was a couple of mistakes. And just the fact that Damon makes those mistakes, he's got those IQ issues, you can't really parlay him at chalk. So, yeah, if you're brave enough, I think Cody, wiki capping it now, I'm definitely going to look into this Cody fight some more. Probably the first thing I'll do. Thanks, Parky. Gibson was elite chalk last time, even I would admit. Yeah. If Parky's playing chalk, you know it's good. Unless it's Rafael Fiziev. But appreciate it. Alrighty. Let's see the total on this fight, shall we? The total. I reckon it's going to be 2.5 rounds. I might be minus money. Wow, under 2.5 rounds plus 160. So Damon hurt and submitted Stamen in the last fight, which I hate myself for not playing sub there. That was the week where I just kept calling the first 4 fights, and I just didn't play any of them, and included Damon sub. So he's got power and he's got submissions. And, you know, Cody Gibson, a bit hittable. Cody can finish people. Damon, I did say, is very durable, very hard to sub, but then we saw him get killed with one punch. So he can be killed. And he was hurt to the body by Zalal, so anything's possible. Maybe that under has a bit of value. But other than that, I mean, you got to play some Cody Gibson, surely. All right, Alexander Hernandez, Kurt Holloway. I mean, people know how I feel about Alexander Hernandez, man. What is he like? What's this price? Let me go straight to that. Minus 200 almost. No way in hell. I think he barely beat Austin Hubbard. Yeah, split decision. I don't think that was a split decision, but Austin Hubbard kind of came into one of the rounds, late rounds 2 or late round 3. He got beat soundly by Damon Jackson, you know, a pre-retirement Damon Jackson. Bill Algeo, who retired again 2 fights after that. Yeah, knocked out by Billy Canato. He doesn't have any good wins, man. Chris Grutzmacher, Mike Breeden, Jim Miller's okay. Austin Hubbard, you know, barely squeezed by him. I will say Kurt Holloway is the better striker, more power. I don't know why Alexander Hernandez is minus 200. Maybe because he can wrestle and Kurt has minus get-up, takedown defense and get-up game. But he had an absolute war with Kenyan Khrushchevsky. That was a great fight. I was happy that he won that fight. Good on him. Submitted Austin Hubbard. Can he submit Alexander Hernandez? Anything's possible. I will say mental is very important, guys. So we saw how Jalen Turner submitted to a really, really easy to escape triangle choke, and he admitted that he wasn't mentally there. And we saw obvious on tape. He wasn't doing the right steps. Alexander Hernandez is one of those mental guys, so never bet on them, especially at minus 200. I think Kurt's mind is still in the game. You saw how he fought against Kenan Khrushchevsky. Absolute war. His kids was like screaming. Never gave up. He got hurt. He put on the fight of the night. It wasn't the fight of the night, but that's unfortunate because it was a great fight. There must have been something better. But yeah, Kurt or pass. I might look into that one first to see why he's such an underdog. And let's see what the under is there. Another plus 150 on the 2.5. Interesting. That has my attention all sus. Vallejos versus Suwon Choi. Yeah, this Vallejos is taking a ton of action. I get it. He's a lot more durable than Suwon Choi. I mean, look at Choi's record, 11-7. I think like 5 of those losses were by KO. Yeah, one split to Josh Kulabau, which is it wasn't really a split. Ran through by Steve Garcia. I remember I had a ton of money on the under 1.5 there, like so much money, uh, over in less than 2 minutes. Jonah Aarons, even Jonah Aarons almost knocked him out with one uppercut. Michael Truzano knocked him out. I mean, it doesn't knock out anyone. Yeah, so I get it. I get it. It's just in terms of durability, Vallejos and power, Vallejos just shits on him. But in a striking fight, who knows, man? This is a massive, massive number. Massive number. What is it at now? Plus 450 on Bet Online. That's wild. That's wild. I get Kevin Vallejos. He's 14-1, and his only loss is Silva, which is kind of he did better than some UFC fighters. So there's that, and he's very young, so he's obviously going to be improving. But I don't know, man. Just not really my kind of parlay piece. All right, now what is the under on this one? Come on, something respectable. 1.5 rounds plus 120. At least it's plus money. Vallejos does have a lot of later on finishes. Yeah. One under, then over, then June Silva over, then Perez all the way into round 3, then the one before that almost in round 3, and then his Contender Series debut against Cam Teague, who's very hittable but tough. Less than 3 minutes. So potentially that under has some value. Okay, let's move on. Co-main event. Zaleski versus Chitty. So I take this one as well. One fight of Chitty, only because I thought minus 200 was a bit disrespectful. This is going to be like a Muay Thai fighter versus a Muay Thai fighter. Zaleski, as good as he is, this man goes to split decisions as a massive underdog to guys that are solid, hyped prospects, and he goes to close split decisions against guys that he should soundly beat, like Abubakar and the Magomedov, for example. And then he almost knocks out Rinat Fakhretdinov, and then he loses a clear unanimous to Randy Brown, which probably should have knocked out, right? And then he beats the crap out of Benoit Saint-Denis, and then loses a split to Muslim Salikov. So it's going to be a striking fight. They're both long. I think Chitty is getting accustomed to welterweight once again. Level of competition hasn't been amazing. Split decision to Reese McKee, and Jared Gooden, one of the worst guys to ever do it. He easily shut him down with the clinch game. So I bet it's Zaleski versus Rinat and versus Nurmagomedov. He does get held up against the cage a lot. He gets dropped quite a bit. So there's got to be some value on Chitty here, personally. Obviously, Chitty has that thing where he quits. He got finished by Gregory after almost finishing him. He got finished by Mikhail Alexandchuk after hurting him. So he kind of blows his load and falls apart, mentally. He is very durable, I will say, but it's more so, both those finishes were attritional ground and pound when he just kind of gave up, turtled up. So, if Zaleski can't crack him, this is probably going to be very competitive. Chitty has brutal body kicks and knees. He just held Gooden against the cage for like 10 minutes of that fight. And Zaleski's been held against the cage against Nurmagomedov. And he got his back taken by Randy Brown after taking his back. So, interesting fight. Chitty or pass at the moment. Not even a contest. Let's see what we have for the total. This would probably be a juicy over. Yet another 1.5. That's interesting. Oh no, there's a 2.5 there too. Maybe they're going to change it. But 1.5 is minus 200, which makes sense, I guess. And 2.5 is even worse. Yeah, I don't know. They're probably going to fix that. I don't like any of them anyway. All right, and now the main event. Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. I taped this one. Obviously, the fall before. I was on the receiving end of what I thought was a robbery. I had Roman Dolidze as an underdog live. I thought he was 2-0 up going into the third. That was around the time I also got shafted with Lerone Murphy over Santos and Chitty versus Derive. And I was like, man, every single live bet that I'm making that I think is a good read going into the decision, the judges were on the other side. So I had to retire live betting for a bit there. But upon rewatching it, yeah, I get it. You can give Marvin round 2 and round 3, Roman came out strong and then lost the second half of round 3, kind of like Gaethje Fiziev. So I get it. it's not the biggest robbery, but Marvin coming off altering beating where he was almost knocked out by Cannonier. Generally an elite, I would say, an iron chin, and almost 2 years layoff. So that's probably a good thing. I'll probably have to stalk his Instagram, see what he was doing. Was he taking? Was he training? Was he injured? And Roman Dolidze has been active since then. Yeah, he fought 3 times. Lost to Nasruddin in a 5-rounder. Beat Anthony Smith short notice up at light heavyweight and dispensed of Kevin Holland. So he's a bit older, but I don't think he's regressed per se. Whereas Marvin Vettori at 31, I don't really know where he's at. I have no idea. Did he have? Oh, that's right. He had a cancelled fight with Brendan Allen. So he was trying to fight. Vettori withdrew. Probably got injured there, right? No bueno. No bueno. But I mean, yeah, Vettori's going to be the more technical boxer from Southpaw. He basically just throws a 1-2, and old mate Roman's going to do his thing and just try ball forward and land overhand rights and get big moments. But this is a 5-rounder now, which I haven't even thought about till right now. So what do we got? Training with Evelyn 5 days ago. It's a good gym at least. AKA. I will say Marvin probably has better 5-round cardio. Oh, here we go. Seems like he's had an operation. I can't see it on this screen, but yeah, that was probably for the Brendan Allen pull-out. Yeah, is what it is. I mean, it's generally a shit show fight. A 5-round stand-up fight between two bums. I don't think the leader's going to be able to take him down. Marvin generally elite takedown defense, and then they're going to be standing on the feet. It's probably going to go at 5 rounds, and then you have to rely on the judges not to mess it up. Marvin is chalk, and Olmay Dolidze is barely plus money, so it's like getting any value here. It kind of feels accurate. Maybe should be pick him. Who knows? But I have to tape it. All right. What do we got here? Let's go with the comments, and I'll finalize my leans, and then we'll get out of here. Danny P. I heard Vettori's injured, broke, and need the paycheck. Yeah, well, that's a red flag if that's the case. Parky, you not think Zaleski could mix in takedowns? I do, but he rarely goes for him. And Jared Gooden took Chitty down like 3-4 times, and when he's fresh, Chitty gets up straight away. So he also took Brown down, took his back, and then Brown reversed and got on top of him. Remember, they're both black belts, so I think Zaleski's jiu-jitsu is overrated, and he actually goes for it a lot when he should be punching. He could have finished Renat, but he went for a submission. 6 Sound, what's up? 2 retards fighting, correct. Very bad main event to watch, but hey, in terms of entertainment, it probably won't be worse than Ankalaev Pereira. Yeah, out with a shoulder injury, that makes sense. Yeah, so the guy's like, yeah, don't know, coming off an injury, coming off a layoff, coming off a beating. Marvin 100% has the better cardio. I mean, he had a better cardio in the first fight, and Dolidze held his own in round 3. Parky, I think I prefer the over than Marvin moneyline. Yeah, I think the over is going to be the side, but I haven't even looked at it. Probably going to be something juicy. Worse than minus 200 for 4.5 rounds. Yeah, that's disgusting. Disgusting, but both incredibly tough. Dolidze took a beating against Imavov and then made it, so might have some value. I don't really like overs at that massive chalk, but it is what it is. Alrighty, so the things that are sticking out, I guess Dubin will pass, Cachoeira, Musasa under 1.5. By the way, I liked so many under 1.5s at plus money last week. Turner, Lial, Huffy, and they're all cashed. So it might be time for me to stop being scared from last year and pivot back to what got me here. So yeah, Musasa $1.50 I like, $2.50. This Ribeiro plus money under. Ryan Spann, Waldo plus money under. Cody Gibson potentially as a dog. Kurt Holliber potentially as a dog. This Vallejos Choi under, but it's only plus 120. I don't know about that. We'll see. Chitty or pass. And I guess Vettori, I'm not really interested. Parky, I didn't realize it moved already. I mean, who the hell is hitting these totals on the first day they're released? It's just silly. The peasants. All right, but that's about it. I'm going to focus. The strategy from here is focus more on the UFC. I still didn't even tape the whole card the day off last week, and then I was like, oh, do I lock in Lemos? If I actually finished taping Lemos on Friday, I would have thought about it. I would have locked it in. There would be no second guessing. So there's Cage Warriors this week. I will look into it, but I'm going to focus on this card, even though it's a shitty card, and then hopefully have some pre-bets early in the week that people can tail, and then go from there. Make some good money. Definitely looking to get into profit after the next week or two, and then cuck the rest of the year. All right, peace out. Leave a comment, like and subscribe.